The NFL Draft is a wonderful event, as for a weekend 250-some young odd men get to live out their childhood dreams and become NFL players, and more specifically 32 have the opportunity to become a first-round pick and to set their families up for generations of wealth and financial success. However, there comes a time where the players have to perform and live up to their status of being a first-round pick and make the franchise's investment in them as such worth it. Unfortunately, that isn't always the case, as there are draft disappointments and busts, and of course stars, and you know who falls into what category across the league. But in today's video, we are going to be discussing a few NFL teams already regretting their 2021 first-round pick. This does not mean they are a solidified bust, but if 2022 does not work out for them, then they will be on the path to becoming one. And a little spoiler to eliminate 2 of the 32 possible players, Jamar Chase and Micah Parsons will not be in today's video, so without further ado, let's begin. And we are going to start today's video with Raiders offensive lineman Alex Leatherwood. Leatherwood was considered a reach at the time, as he was selected 17th overall and was viewed as a early to mid second round prospect. And Leatherwood in his rookie season gave up countless sacks and had several penalties against him as well, and for the Raiders, who turned what should have been a forgotten year with everything that happened to them into a relatively good year, as they made the postseason and nearly sent the game to overtime to a team that went to the Super Bowl and a team that could win the Super Bowl in Cincinnati. Leatherwood was the opposite. He was not a bright spot for the team. And what makes this pick worse is if you look who was drafted 3 spots earlier, and the Jets' Elijah Vera Tucker, who had a very good rookie season in his own rights, and who is an absolute monster in the run game, and the same can be said for Vikings left tackle Christian Darrisaw, who was selected 7 picks after Leatherwood, and who the Vikings traded back 10 spots for. It was viewed as a good selection for Minnesota to draft him at 14, let alone 24, and the Raiders reached on a prospect who was viewed as a consensus as inferior prospect to Christian Darrisaw, and the results a year later show exactly that. And of course, this goes back to the who really had control of the Raiders draft picks, and how much power did Gruden flex when he wanted to draft a guy in particular, and everything around this. It's probably for the better from a results standpoint that Gruden is gone, because he had 0 playoff appearances in his tenure as the Raiders head coach, and hand-selected Clelin Ferrell over Devin White in the 2019 draft. The Raiders having a very fast and physical linebacker in Devin White for the next 10 years to try and stop both Herbert and Mahomes would have been nice, and having a player like Christian Darrisaw fall into your lap at 17 and to willingly choose Leatherwood over him is another reason why it's for the better he's gone. With all of the hits in the 2021 first round from an offensive lineman perspective, from Penei Sewell to Rashawn Slater, who was a second-team All-Pro player and a Pro Bowler, and drafted by a division rival at that, to AVT at 14 and Darrisaw, who held his own, the Raiders missed out and are certainly regretting their 2021 first-round pick, as they have already had to move him to guard to address his struggles that he's had at the NFL level. The next player is in a situation that's a little different because he was injured for some of the 2021 season, and it's New Orleans, where we're going to discuss defensive end Payton Turner. The best case, as an absolute best case scenario for Saints fans, is he does exactly what Cam Jordan did just a decade later, and it would be exactly a decade later because Cam was a 2011 first round pick. Anyways, my point here is Cam had a great career, and in December of 2011 was featured in a Bleacher Report article about rookies on the path to being busts, or something in this general neck of the woods. And the reason we include Turner isn't because I think he's a for sure bust and a lost cause at this point, because even if I wanted to think that, there's not enough tape to definitively say, yes, this dude sucks and the Saints drafted a bust. But the reason we include him is because of all of the success drafted nearly immediately after him in the Bills' Greg Rousseau, the Ravens' Odafe Oweh, and the division rival Bucks with Joe Tryon. All of these guys look like hits, and Oweh especially, as he led rookie edge rushers with 49 total pressures in year number 1, which is especially impressive considering the narrative that was surrounding him when he came out of Penn State just a year ago. How could you take a player who had 0 sacks in his final collegiate season in the first round, and he proved everyone wrong? And then you even take a peek into the second round with Giants rookie Azeez Ojulari, who finished with the second most pressures in the 2021 draft class during their rookie season. The Saints were a 9-8 team in 2021, despite throwing Trevor Siemian out there for a start and Ian Book in a disastrous Monday night game against the Dolphins, and having this type of production from an edge rusher the way they would have liked to over the course of a season may have propelled them towards a playoff berth. And to play devil's advocate, had they made the playoffs with whoever would have been starting quarterback for them, I don't think they would have done anything in the postseason, but to draft a player who played at the University of Houston, which is already a lower level of competition to begin with, and have an injury-riddled first year certainly is not a great start to Payton Turner's professional career. Next up is the New York Giants with Kadarius Toney, and this may be a bit of a surprising one, so let's discuss. This isn't in the sense that Kadarius is bad, because I do think he will be a player there for the next 5 to 6 years, and essentially be what Sterling Shepard has been over the past half-decade, and that is stability. And to be fair to Kadarius, you can't really say, well, produce more, when he's being thrown passes by not starting NFL-caliber quarterbacks routinely in both Mike Glennon and Jake Fromm. The New York Giants averaged something like 17.5 points per game in 2021, and that's obviously horrible. So naturally, the selection of Toney is going to look a lot less good when he's in the same class as other players like Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, and Devontae Smith. Situation and context matters, and the same can be said from back in 2019 when Marquise Brown went to a team in Baltimore who likes to run the football, and DK Metcalf went to Seattle who had a team who likes to throw the football with Russell Wilson, you know, him throwing the football. And by the way, Lamar won an MVP. He's not bad. I'm not getting into that as much as what I'm saying, which is know the context, and the selection of Toney in a class with other receivers like Rondale Moore and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and especially St. Brown, who was selected in the 4th round. I don't think Toney was this head and shoulders above player where you draft him even if Daniel Jones stays healthy and he's in running for Offensive Rookie of the Year with both Jamar and Mac Jones. With the Giants' needs, given there were a lot of them last year and there are still plenty, there's several players that could have been selected here to me that make more sense than Toney. We previously addressed the Azeez Ojulari selection, so I don't want to say, oh, well, they should have taken Jalen Phillips in the 1st round and Rondale Moore in the 2nd because they were more productive as a combo than Ojulari and Toney were, because, no exaggeration, guys, we could do that with every single draft class. But what I will say is the Giants addressed receiver and tight end a lot in free agency by adding both Kenny Golladay and Kyle Rudolph on top of having Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, and Darius Slayton already on the roster. And if you smirked or laughed at the Kyle Rudolph comment, please know they weren't bringing him in to be a 2011 prime Gronk as much as he was supposed to be a security blanket. And I include Darius Slayton in those names with Barkley and Sterling Shepard because the fact of the matter is he was a back-to-back 740-plus yard receiver for the first 2 years of his career and was a viable number 2 option and would have been good in an offense if healthy with everyone aforementioned. We know the Giants' offensive line is not good, and that could have also been addressed. And I truly think there were better options at the time than Kadarius Toney because the initial selection they wanted and the whole world knew about was Devontae Smith, which we know the Eagles jumped them at pick 11. The positive thing I will say about the Toney selection is they traded back from pick 11 and received an extra 1st round pick. So if there is a silver lining within all of this and missing out on Devontae Smith, you at least received an extra 1st round pick for leaking the entire world of your draft plans to take Devontae Smith at number 11. The final player, I want there to be a clear asterisk next to it because it's very different than the others, and it's Justin Fields, and here's why. The Bears' new head coach and GM enter a situation with an offense that's not very good, and a quarterback who struggled in year 1 and currently have no 1st round pick. I don't think the Bears fans or team regret this pick, as in the Justin Fields' teammates, as much as I don't think the new GM Ryan Poles wants Justin Fields in the current situation he's in from a player personnel standpoint. And to be clear, that's different than me saying Ryan Poles doesn't want Justin Fields as his quarterback, because if he didn't, he wouldn't have taken the job. I think Fields will be a good player in the NFL. It's just unfortunate at the current moment with not a lot of talent around him, combined with no first-round pick to try and help him out with a potential playmaker like a Garrett Wilson or a Drake London. So Fields is much different than the other three in today's video. I want that clear. But anyways, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, I ask you to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We recently hit 31,000 subscribers, and I cannot thank you guys enough for the support. And until next time, please be safe and have a great day. Love you guys.